Good morning, friends. Welcome to my BioBooster channel. In the previous video, we have started with the biomolecules. Here we have studied carbohydrates, proteins, lipids, etc. In this video, we are going to proceed toward the next part of biomolecules. These are the enzymes. Then we shall see what are these enzymes. Enzymes are biocatalysts which increase the speed of reaction. For example, suppose A compound is converted into a B compound without enzyme, and in another example A is converted into B compound with the enzyme. This enzyme increases the speed of reaction. The rate of reaction is increased. Here enzyme acts on this compound and the A compound is converted into B compound. The rate of reaction, the speed of reaction is increased. So these are the biocatalysts, biological catalysts. In the chemistry we know that there are inorganic catalysts, but here there are biological catalysts, and these biological catalysts, these are called as enzymes. These enzymes were discovered by Buchner from the yeast extract. Yeast cells were taken, extract was prepared, and from this extract he discovered these enzymes. He coined the term for the first time. He used the term enzyme. Buchner used the term enzyme for the first time. Enzyme, it is a Greek word. From the Greek word, en means in and zyma means yeast, that is in the yeast, and from this enzyme word was derived. Each enzyme catalyzes the specific reaction, means this enzyme acts on the specific substrate. Here, suppose this enzyme acts on the A, it does not act on the B or C or the D, etc. It means that enzyme acts on the specific substrate. The substance upon which enzyme acts, this is called as a substrate. Here in this case you can see that this enzyme acts on this substance, and this substance is converted into this substance. Enzyme acts on the substance. This is called as a substrate. This is a substrate on which enzyme acts, and the compound which is formed, this is called as a product. Here A is the substrate and B is the product. So enzymes are biological catalysts. They increase the speed of the reaction. Enzymes were discovered by Buchner from yeast extract. Greek en means in, zyma means yeast, that is in the yeast. Each enzyme catalyzes the specific reaction. A particular enzyme acts on the particular substrate. The substance upon which enzyme acts, this is called as a substrate. In this reaction, you see reaction A is converted into the B in presence of enzyme. A is the substrate and B is the product. Then there are two types of enzymes: endoenzymes and exoenzymes. Endoenzymes means enzymes which act within the cell in which they are produced. Suppose this is a cell, and in this cell, suppose these enzymes are produced. These enzymes act within the cell. These are called endoenzymes. Enzymes which act within the cell in which they are produced, these are called exoenzymes. For example, enzymes produced in the chloroplast and mitochondria. Suppose this is a chloroplast, this is a mitochondrion. Here in the chloroplast and mitochondria, various enzymes are produced and they act inside the chloroplast and inside the mitochondrion, and that's why these are called as endoenzymes. Other category of these enzymes, these are called exoenzymes. These enzymes act outside the cell in which they are produced. For example, suppose these are the fungal cells. These fungal cells, they produce enzymes. These are the this is the fungal mycelium. This mycelium produces enzymes outside the cell, outside the mycelium, and here these enzymes act. These are called exoenzymes. Enzymes that act outside the cell. These are produced inside these cells, but these are released outside and they act out of the cells. That's why these are called exoenzymes. Thus, enzymes are of two types: endoenzymes and exoenzymes. Enzymes retain their catalytic property even when extracted from the cell. Suppose, if you take the example of yeast, suppose these are the yeast cells. From these yeast cells, these enzymes are extracted and they can act, they retain the catalytic property if these are removed, if these are extracted from the cell. Enzymes retain their catalytic property even when extracted from the cell. Renate tablets. In the market, renate tablets are available. These are used for coagulating the milk protein. Milk protein is casein. For the coagulation of casein from the milk, renin enzyme is used. And this renin enzyme, it is obtained from the renate tablets. This renin enzyme is obtained from the stomach of cow baby. These are obtained from stomach of the, आपण गाईचं पिल्लू किंवा वासरू म्हणतो त्याच्या स्टमक पासून रेनिन नावाचं एन्झाईम तयार केलं जातं आणि या रेनिन नावाच्या एन्झाईमचा उपयोग केसिन नावाचं मिल्कमध्ये असणारं प्रोटीन कोयाग्युलेट करण्यासाठी केला जातो. रिनेट टॅब्लेट्समध्ये हे एन्झाईम असतं आणि त्या टॅब्लेट्स मिल्क कोयाग्युलेशनला किंवा मिल्कमध्ये असणाऱ्या प्रोटीन कोयाग्युलेशनसाठी वापरलं जातं, कधी चीज तयार करण्याच्या वेळी. So this is the introduction of enzymes. Now we shall proceed toward the enzymes. Nature of enzymes. On the basis of chemical composition, enzymes are grouped into two categories. Actually, enzymes are proteinaceous in nature. But on the basis of chemical composition, these are classified into two categories: purely proteinaceous enzymes and conjugated enzymes. We shall see the meaning of this one. Suppose this is the enzyme. This enzyme, it is made up of only protein. This is made up of purely protein. No non-protein part is present inside this enzyme. And these are called purely proteinaceous enzymes. For example, protease enzyme, this splits proteins into amino acids. Protease, example of pure proteinaceous enzymes is protease enzyme that breaks down proteins into the amino acids. Another category of these enzymes, these are called conjugated enzymes. Here suppose this is the enzyme. This enzyme is made up of protein part and this is a non-protein part. This non-protein part, this is called as prosthetic group. Conjugated enzymes, these are made up of protein. This is the protein which a non-protein prosthetic group is attached. This is a non-protein prosthetic group. This is attached to this protein and there is formation of this enzyme. This non-protein part, this is called as a prosthetic group. This is a prosthetic group. Here both the things, that is protein part and non-protein part, both are essential for the catalytic activity of this enzyme. Conjugated, these are called conjugated enzymes. Conjugated enzymes are made up of protein with which a non-protein prosthetic group is attached. Prosthetic group is firmly bound to the protein bond. This non-protein part or the prosthetic group, it is firmly bound to the protein compound by chemical bonds. It is not removed by hydrolysis. This non-protein part is not removed by hydrolysis. If it is removed, this enzyme becomes inactive. Means for the activity of this enzyme, this non-protein part or the prosthetic group is very, very essential. If it is removed, enzyme loses the catalytic activity. Some enzymes require certain organic compounds and inorganic compounds. Here, there are some enzymes which require organic compounds and inorganic ions for their activity. Organic compounds are tightly bound to the protein part. Organic compounds, these are tightly bound to the protein part. These are called coenzymes. NAD and FMN. NAD, that is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide, and FMN, flamine mononucleotide. These are the organic compounds. These are tightly bound to the enzyme, and these are called coenzymes. Examples of coenzymes are NAD and FMN. These are tightly bound to the enzymes. Then manganese, copper, zinc, iron, manganese. These are the ions of metals that act as cofactors. These are also called as activators. These are the organic compounds which are required for the activity. These are the inorganic ions required for the activity. Organic compounds are called coenzymes, and these inorganic ions, these are called activators or the cofactors. This is about the nature of enzymes. Now we shall proceed toward the properties of enzymes. Just now I told you that all enzymes are proteins. First is proteinaceous in nature. All enzymes are basically made up of proteins. Second property, three-dimensional conformation. All enzymes have three-dimensional conformation. They have one or more active sites to which a substrate combines. Suppose this is the enzyme. This is the enzyme. This is the substrate. Here you can see that this substrate gets combined with this place, with this site of enzyme, and this is called as active site of the enzyme. The place on the enzyme where the substrate gets fitted, this is called as active site of the enzyme. They have one or more active sites on which substrate combines. Substrate combines at this place. Then the figure will be like this. This is the enzyme and this is the substrate. This is the enzyme and this is the substrate. This is called an enzyme substrate complex. This is the enzyme substrate complex. At the time of the reaction, substrate gets fitted on the active site of the enzyme. There may be one or more active sites on the enzyme, and there is formation of enzyme substrate complex, and then afterwards substrate is converted into the product. One or more active site to which substrate is attached. The point of the active site where substrate joins with the enzyme is called substrate binding site. Means, actually suppose this is the active site. Actually at this place, the substrate joins with the enzyme. This is called as substrate binding site. This is the active site. On this active site, there is a point where actually the substrate joins with the enzyme. This is called as a substrate binding site. As per the properties of enzyme, first property is proteinaceous in nature. All enzymes are proteins. Three-dimensional conformation. All enzymes have three-dimensional conformation. There may be one or more active sites where enzymes get fitted on the enzyme. The point of the active site where the substrate gets actually attached with the enzyme, this is called as substrate binding site. This is the substrate binding site. Then we shall proceed toward the next property, catalytic property. Enzymes accelerate or increase the speed of biochemical reaction. Just now I told you that this A is converted into B in presence of this enzyme. This enzyme increases the rate of reaction. This increases the rate of conversion of A into the B. Means it accelerates the speed of biochemical reaction, but themselves remain unaffected. This after the reaction, there is no effect on this enzyme. After completion of the reaction, they remain active to catalyze again. After the conversion of A into the B, afterwards, again this enzyme convert this A into the B. Means after the completion of a reaction, this enzyme remains unaffected, and again it catalyzes the reaction. A small quantity of enzyme can catalyze or transform or convert a large amount of substrate. Small quantity of enzyme can catalyze transformation, that is conversion. Conversion of very large quantity of substrate into the end products. Means this enzyme required in the low quantity. This enzyme can convert large quantity of A into the B. For example, sucrase. Sucrase is the enzyme. This sucrase acts upon the sucrose. This is sucrase enzyme. The sucrase enzyme acts upon the sucrose. Here you can see that this sucrase can hydrolyze. Sucrose is hydrolyzed. Just wait. This is the sucrose plus H2O. Enzyme is sucrase. There is conversion of one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. This is the reaction. In this case, sucrase can hydrolyze 1 lakh times of sucrose as compared to its weight. Means 1 gram of sucrose, 1 gram of sucrose can convert 1 lakh grams of sucrose into the glucose and fructose. Means very small quantity of enzyme is required for the conversion of large quantity of substrate into the product. This is the catalytic property. Enzymes accelerate the speed of reaction. They remain unaffected at the end of reaction. Again, they catalyze the reaction. A small quantity of enzyme is required. For example, sucrase enzyme can catalyze 1 lakh times of sucrose into the glucose and fructose. Then specificity of enzymes. Enzymes can act on the specific substrate or specific group of compounds, specific group of the substrate. Means it catalyzes a specific reaction. Here just now we shall see this same example. Sucrose. This sucrose, it is converted into glucose and fructose by sucrase. But here other enzyme is not necessary, or other enzyme is not functional. Only sucrase acts upon the sucrose. Only sucrase acts upon the sucrose. Other enzyme cannot convert the sucrose into the glucose and fructose. Means this sucrase enzyme is specific. It specifically converts sucrose into the glucose and fructose. So enzyme acts on the specific substrate or specific group of substances. It catalyzes the specific reaction. This is a hydrolytic reaction. Sucrase here catalyzes a hydrolytic reaction, means sucrose plus H2, and then its conversion of one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. So this is a hydrolytic reaction. This reaction cannot be catalyzed by other enzymes. Means these enzymes, they catalyze specific reaction, they act upon the specific substrate. This is called as specificity of action. The next property of these enzymes, reversibility of action. Enzymes are very sensitive to temperature and pH. These two factors are very important. Temperature and pH. Enzymes are very sensitive. Each enzyme exhibits a highest activity at a specific pH. This is called as optimum pH. Here we are going to see the details in the effects. The enzyme has highest activity at optimum pH. Any increase or decrease in the pH, enzyme activity decreases. If pH is increased from optimum pH or it is decreased from optimum pH, there is a decline, there is a reduction in the enzyme activity. Enzyme pepsin, this is secreted in the stomach. Pepsin enzyme, it is secreted in our stomach. It shows highest activity as at acidic pH, that is pH 2. Pepsin enzyme acts in the acidic pH at pH 2. Trypsin enzyme acts in the duodenum. It is the most active at optimum pH 9.2. It is active at pH 2. Here it is active at 9.5. Sorry, 9.5 or alkaline pH. Both are protein digesting enzymes. Both are protein breaking enzymes. Pepsin and trypsin, although both are protein breaking enzymes, protein digesting enzymes, but they have different optimum pH value. Then temperature. Enzymes at very low temperature are inactive. If the temperature is 0 or 4 or 3, etc., these enzymes are inactive. When the temperature increases, the enzyme activity increases. Enzyme activity increases with increase in the temperature, but up to a certain limit. Enzymes are destroyed above 60 to 70 degrees centigrade temperature. At this temperature, enzymes are denatured. Enzymes are inactivated. At very low temperature, enzymes are inactive. When the temperature increases, enzyme activity is increased. But at very high temperature, these enzymes are destroyed, again activity is decreased. Most of the enzymes work at an optimum temperature between 20 to 35 degree centigrade. This is the optimum temperature for most of the enzymes. So at this temperature, there is the highest activity of enzymes. So temperature, enzymes at very low temperature are inactive. When the temperature increases, enzyme activity increases. Enzymes are destroyed at very high temperature, that is 60 to 70 degrees centigrade. Enzymes are denatured. Most of the enzymes work at an optimum optimum temperature. For most of the enzymes, optimum temperature is 20 to 35. This is the reversibility of action. Then nomenclature of enzymes. Nomenclature means naming of enzymes. How the enzymes are named. This is called as nomenclature of enzymes. There are various ways of naming. There are different methods of naming of the enzymes or giving the name to the enzymes. Naming by, the first method is naming by addition of suffix. Here, enzymes are named by adding a suffix age to the name of the substrate. So after the name of the substrate, suffix age is added on which they act. Means, suppose this we shall see the example. Sucrose is the, we shall take the same example. Enzyme is sucrase. Here, sucrose is the substrate, enzyme is sucrase. So age, this age is added after the name of the substrate on which they act. This is, enzymes are named by adding the suffix age to the name of the substrate on which they act. For example, protease acts upon the proteins, age is added after the proteins. Sucrase acts upon the sucrose. Nuclease, they act upon the nucleic acids. Lipase, lipase acts upon the lipids, etc. After the name of the substrate, suffix age is added. This is the first method of naming the enzymes. The second method of naming the enzymes, according to the type of function or according to the type of reaction they catalyze. कोणत्या प्रकारची रिॲक्शन ते कॅटलाइज करतात त्याच्यावरून एन्झाईम्सला नावं दिलेली आहेत. डिहायड्रोजिनेजेस, डिहायड्रोजिनेशन मीन्स रिमूव्हल ऑफ हायड्रोजन्स. Dehydrogenases catalyze the reaction where there is a release of hydrogens. Carboxylases, carboxylation means addition of CO2. When CO2 is added, this reaction is called as carboxylation reaction, and these reactions are catalyzed by carboxylase enzyme. Decarboxylase, carboxylation means addition of CO2. Decarboxylation means removal of CO2. So this reaction is catalyzed by decarboxylases. Oxidases help in oxidation. Means on the basis of type of reaction they catalyze, enzymes are named. Dehydrogenases remove hydrogens. Carboxylases add CO2. Decarboxylases remove CO2. Oxidases help in the oxidation. Means enzymes are named on the basis of type of reaction they catalyze. Third method, according to the source. Enzymes are named according to the source from where they are obtained. Enzymes are named according to the source from which they are obtained. For example, papain enzyme, it is obtained from papaya. As this enzyme is obtained from papaya, that's why this is called as a papain. Then bromelain, this enzyme is obtained from the members of family Bromeliaceae. Bromeliaceae family मध्ये असणाऱ्या प्लांट्स मध्ये ब्रोमेलिन नावाचं एन्झाईम असतं, म्हणून याला ब्रोमेलिन असं नाव दिलेलं आहे. So according to the source, third method of naming the enzymes is the enzymes are named on the basis of a source from which they are obtained. First example is papain from papaya and bromelain from the members of family Bromeliaceae. The next method of naming the enzymes, according to the International Code of Enzyme Nomenclature. According to the International Code of Enzyme Nomenclature, according to this method, name of the enzyme ends with age, suffix age, and it consists of two names. It consists of double names. The first name indicates the name of the substrate on which they act, and the second name indicates the type of reaction which it catalyzes. We shall take the example. Pyruvate decarboxylase. Here, the first part of the name, it is a pyruvate. This is the name of the substrate. Decarboxylase, it is a type of decarboxylation, that is the removal of CO2. It is a type of reaction. Means first name of the enzyme indicates the substrate. Second name of the enzyme, it indicates the type of reaction it catalyzes. So pyruvate decarboxylase catalyzes removal of CO2 from pyruvate. Glutamate pyruvate transaminase. In this case, this catalyzes transfer of amino group from glutamate to pyruvate. Transfer of amino group. Here amino group is transferred from substrate glutamate to another substrate pyruvate. So here there is a transfer of amino group. This is called as a transaminase, and the name of the enzyme is glutamate pyruvate transaminase. Means amino group is transferred from glutamate to the pyruvate. So in this way, according to the International Code of Enzyme Nomenclature, there are two names to the enzymes. The name of the enzyme ends with H. There are two names. First name indicates the name of the substrate on which they act. Second part of the name, or the second name, indicates the type of reaction it catalyzes. Pyruvate decarboxylase. In this name, pyruvate is the name of substrate. Decarboxylase, it is the type of reaction which it catalyzes. Second example, glutamate pyruvate transaminase. In this case, there is a transfer of amino group from glutamate to pyruvate. In this way, enzymes are named by different methods. Then classification of enzymes. Enzymes are classified into 6 classes, 6 major classes. Oxidoreductases. As the name is self-explanatory, these enzymes catalyze oxidation and reduction reactions. First class of the enzymes, oxidoreductases, these are responsible for oxidation and reduction of the compounds. These enzymes catalyze oxidation and reduction reactions. How? By transfer of hydrogens or oxygens. Alcohol dehydrogenase, it is the name of the enzyme. This enzyme acts upon the alcohol dehydrogenase enzyme, and there is formation of aldehyde. So in this case, alcohol plus NAD, alcohol dehydrogenase, there is formation of aldehyde plus NADH2. In this reaction, or such types of reaction where there is oxidation or reduction occurs, these enzymes are included under the category oxidoreductases. The next class of enzymes, these are transferases. These enzymes catalyze transfer of certain group of atoms between the two molecules. In this case, glucose plus ATP, glucokinase, there is formation of glucose 6-phosphate. Means phosphate group from this ATP, it is transferred to the glucose and there is formation of glucose 6-phosphate. In this way, transferases catalyze the reactions where there is a transfer of certain groups between the two molecules. Glucose plus ATP, from this ATP phosphate is transferred to the glucose, there is formation of glucose 6-phosphate and ADP is formed. This is the second class. The third class of enzymes, these are hydrolases. Hydrolases means they catalyze hydrolysis. These enzymes catalyze hydrolysis, means breakdown of substrate in presence of water molecule. Breakdown of substrate in presence of water molecule. Water molecule is added and the compound is broken down into simple compound. For example, sucrose plus H2O, enzyme is sucrase. There is formation of one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. There is hydrolysis of sucrose. By the addition of one water molecule, sucrose is broken down into one molecule of glucose and one molecule of fructose. Other examples of hydrolysis are amylase, protease which breaks down the proteins, lipases which break down the lipids, sucrase which breaks down the sucrose. Another class of enzymes, these are the lyases. These are involved in the removal of group of atoms from substrate, leaving the double bond. Here also there is a breakdown of the substrate by removal of certain group of atoms. Aldolases, decarboxylases. Decarboxylation means removal of CO2. Dehydratases. For example, fumarate dehydratase. We shall see the example. Histidine. Histidine decarboxylase acts upon the histidine. There is a removal of CO2. Decarboxylase means removal of CO2, removal of group of atoms by leaving a double bond in the histidine. So, histidine decarboxylase acts upon the histidine. There is a removal of CO2 and the product form is histamine. Lyases, from where group of atoms is removed, leaving a double bond. Examples are aldolases, decarboxylases, dehydratases. Example is fumarate dehydratase. Another example is histidine. Histidine decarboxylase acts upon the histidine. There is formation of histamine and this CO2 is released. The next class of enzymes, fifth class of enzymes, these are isomerases. There is interconversion of isomers. These enzymes catalyze interconversion of isomers, epimers, etc. These enzymes catalyze structural rearrangement within the molecule of a substrate. Structural rearrangement, there is formation of isomers. Their nomenclature is based on the type of isomerism. कोणत्या प्रकारचं आयसोमेरिझम आहे, कोणत्या प्रकारची रिअरेंजमेंट आहे, याच्यावरून त्याचे टाइप्स आहेत. म्हणून त्याला नावं दिलेली आहेत. रेसिमेजेस, इपीमरेजेस, interconversion of epimers, isomerases, interconversion of isomers. There is a little change. These are called mutases. Means these enzymes, they catalyze structural rearrangement. हे जे स्ट्रक्चर जे आहे त्याच्यामध्ये रिअरेंजमेंट होते आणि आयसोमर तयार होतो. देअर नोमॅनक्लेचर इज बेस्ड ऑन द टाइप्स ऑफ आयसोमेरी. कुठल्या प्रकारचं आयसोमेरिझम, कुठल्या प्रकारचे इंटरनल चेंजेस आहेत त्याच्यावरती त्याची वेगळी वेगळी नाव आहेत. रेसिमरेजेस, इपीमरेजेस, आयसोमरेजेस अँड म्युटेजेस. Example is xylose isomerase. Another example is isomerase. Glucose 6-phosphate is the isomer of fructose 6-phosphate. These are the isomers of each other and their interconversion is catalyzed by enzyme isomerase. So isomerases, it is the fifth class of enzymes. The next class of enzymes, these are called ligases or synthetases. Ligases or synthetases. They catalyze covalent linkage of molecules utilizing energy from ATP and GTP. ATP आणि GTP पासून एनर्जी पासून तयार झालेली एनर्जी वापरून नवीन कंपाऊंड तयार होते. These are involved in the synthesis of compounds. For example, glutathione synthetase, pyruvate carboxylase. We shall take the example according to the definition. Pyruvate plus CO2, A plus ATP. Energy from this ATP is used for the synthesis of oxaloacetate. The product is oxaloacetate. Enzyme is pyruvate carboxylase. There is carboxylation, is addition of CO2 to the pyruvate by utilizing the energy from ATP. In presence of enzyme pyruvate carboxylase, and the product form is oxaloacetate. Oxaloacetate is synthesized. There is synthesis of oxaloacetate. Ligases, or the synthetases, it is the last category of enzymes. They catalyze covalent linkage of the molecules using energy from ATP and GTP. GTP, that is guanosine diphosphate, ATP is adenosine triphosphate. These are involved in the synthesis of compounds. This compound is synthesized. Examples are glutathione synthetase, pyruvate carboxylase. Here we have taken the example of pyruvate carboxylase. Pyruvate plus CO2 plus ATP. ATP supplies the energy. CO2 forms covalent bonding with the pyruvate. There is formation of synthesis of oxaloacetate. This is the last class of enzymes. Dear friends, we shall see the remaining part in the next video. This is the first part of enzymes. Please like, share and subscribe this video. धन्यवाद.